The classroom door the shooter entered in the Uvalde, Texas elementary school did not latch closed properly, making the lock useless. Thank you for joining us tonight for Wave News at 6. I'm John Boll.
And I'm Myra Ansari. Teachers could also only lock their doors a specific way. That's from the outside.
Wave News troubleshooter Mark Stevens has been looking into classroom door locks, as neither Kentucky nor Indiana require schools to have classroom doors that can be locked from the inside.
This is the #1 recommendation from the Sandy Hook massacre. Have classroom doors capable of being locked from the inside, but neither state has mandated those locks be installed in their schools.
In Scottsburg, Superintendent Mark Slayton demonstrates a key part of his school district's active shooter strategy.
We went and purchased these here.
Pinch guards, a single piece of plastic that holds classroom doors ajar and can be pulled off in seconds when the radio alert sounds.
So our doors are locked, and we just clip this on the door. And in the event of a lockdown, a necessary lockdown, then we just pull this off the door. The door very quickly shuts with the closure piece, and we're locked down in under 10 seconds.
It's simple, consistent across the district, and violates Indiana's fire code.
When we first started these, and at the very next inspection, we did get written up for having fire code violation.
Doors cannot be propped open. And like districts across our area, Slayton's district has buildings of various ages with different locking hardware.
We have a hodgepodge or a potpourri of different door types. Some lock on the inside, some lock on the outside.
He looked at retrofitting all his district's classroom doors with lock sets that can be locked from the inside of the classroom. They've been around for decades, but across the country, the latest education data show 1 in 4 public schools do not have classroom doors that can be locked from the inside.
And it was just cost prohibitive.
Uvalde teachers told investigators they had to open their classroom doors to make sure they were locked.
Whenever one of these kind of tragedies happen, the phones ring off the hook.
Louisville's Schiller Hardware supplies schools across Kentucky with all types of door locks.
In case of an active shooter, you do not want the door to be opened where the teacher or anyone else has to reach outside to try to figure out whether the lock is locked.
President Scott Wesley shows us a couple models.
Or which way they need to turn the key, and now by doing so, without opening the door, they can rest assured that the lock has been locked.
Pricier versions come with indicators showing whether the handle is locked, but the goal is the same: quickly lock the door without having to open it first.
To run from the desk over should be just a matter of seconds.
Installing these types of locks is the #1 recommendation following the Sandy Hook massacre. But Wesley says school districts constantly run into the same problem.
It's money. It comes down to money.
Kentucky lawmakers passed a comprehensive school safety law in 2019 and backed it up with money the following year. While the big focus was on school resource officers, classroom doors did not go unnoticed.
I wanted to have shall be locked back then, but we had pushback that we went with should.
John Akers leads the Kentucky Center for School Safety. He helped persuade lawmakers to update that law.
If a person could come in through an exterior door and get into a building, how many doors could they push open and do bad things before you could call a lockdown?
The law now requires Kentucky schools to keep classroom doors closed and locked while class is in session. But it does not require those doors to be capable of being locked from the inside.
That's a preference, but it's not a situation in which we're going to tell schools that have all these locks that are older-fashioned locks, so to speak, and capable of locking from the inside. Again, I circle back around telling them that if we go ahead and preset those locks from the outside, then the point's moot.
Kentucky backs up the law with inspections. The latest report from the state school security marshal showed 14 schools did not meet that requirement this year. 19 didn't have the right hardware installed.
Tell you the numbers this year are better than the numbers from last year.
Last year, 98 schools weren't keeping their classroom doors locked. 70 didn't have the right hardware. State School Security Marshal Ben Wilcox says they don't just mark a violation and move on.
We ask the school to give us a call back when the issue has been fixed for two reasons. If it's a hardware issue, that issue may take a day or two to get fixed.
And they'll follow up to ensure the problem is fixed.
We felt good about our door plan.
Indiana does not require these types of locks either. It does offer school safety grants, a max of $100,000. Slayton has used those grants to pay for school resource officers instead of new door locks.
So we just felt strongly about making sure we have that law enforcement officer already on scene in the event that they need to respond to a situation.
And the district appealed that fire code violation to a state board. The state approved a waiver for the district to use the pinch guards twice now. Slayton conducts lockdown drills monthly, and he's happy with the results.
Our staff or kids pull the pinch guards, and we're locked down pretty instantaneous.
Sure. Now, both Kentucky and Indiana also have tip lines to report school safety concerns. Parents can also check their child's classroom door at parent-teacher conferences. It's one of the things that Wesley recommended, to make sure they can see how the doors are locking and making sure that those latches shut. Mark Stevens, Wave News.